Howard the Duck the movie. Well, I've talked about it before, I may as well talk about it again. The movie that's nowhere near as bad as they say, but it's also not good. But because I love Howard the Duck, the character, I'll have to talk about his movie in the most respectful way possible. First though, let's have some background on this. Howard the Duck is a character who originated from Marvel Comics, mainly appealing to older readers of the underground scene. Should I put that in quotation marks? I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling when I try detailing stuff. Despite being a loser of a character, he was popular for a time, being so popular that George Lucas, yes, Star Wars creator George Lucas, wanted to adapt his comics onto film. And when it finally happened, it gave us Pixar, because it bombed so bad that they had to sell off stuff.
In the beginning there was Howard the Duck.
Neat. So, what exactly happened with the Howard the Duck movie? Well, let's run through the movie's plot first. Howard is from another world where all that exists are ducks. Duck puns, duck movies, duck ideas. It's all ducks running amok. But then suddenly he's pulled to our world, Cleveland to be exact, where he meets Beverly, a young lady who plans to hit it big with music. Some shenanigans ensue. As she helps him, he helps her.
No one laughs at a master of quack fu.
They argue and eventually both realize how he ended up on Earth, a science mistake. The scientists try replicating the event to send Howard home, but instead they accidentally bring an evil alien to Earth who possesses one of the scientists. From there, the movie has the scientists kidnap Beverly, Howard goes on a chase to save her, and stop the alien from bringing more of its kind to take over the world, which results in Howard sacrificing his way home, which then lets him stay as Beverly's new manager, leading to our ending where Beverly's band plays to a sold-out concert. What song does she play? The pretty cool Howard the Duck theme song.
Howard!
Oi.
It sounds as bad as the hype says it is, right? Well, no, it's not awful. So the hype is wrong and it's a classic? Not that either. It's got some moments I like. The often criticized Howard puppet is not bad, just not convincing as a real duck person. Plus, Howard himself often looks more timid than his comic counterpart, who is more annoyed or short-tempered. Basically Donald Duck if Donald was fed up with everything and questioning his life choices. I probably shouldn't have said that. Disney might lock up Howard. I mean, they already sued him for his looks, and anyways, let's move on. Look, the movie, it's fine. Depending on the day, depending on the mood, I'll be kind and say it's alright. But long, but alright. Or I'll say it's not alright. That's kind of the most I can say. I mean, sure, I feel like I care about this movie a whole lot more than my critique would suggest. But that's because, as I've mentioned before in videos and written pieces, Howard is my favorite comic book character. Not just Marvel, but in general. So I'm kind of forced to hold it closer to my heart than it deserves to be. The other reason being that, as the first Marvel feature, it kind of feels like a big deal. Of all characters, the Duck beat out everyone to a theatrical feature at Marvel, which I've often theorized was the first sign that Marvel would overtake DC as the superhero movie household name. Look, DC has some great movies, but you can't deny that Marvel has introduced so many properties, many of which that were never popular and made them iconic. This isn't me being a fanboy, this is me being honest. Why else would Scorsese use the word Marvel to describe superhero and blockbuster tentpole movies in general? You know, during that whole thing, if we're being honest. Anyway, how was Howard that sign? Well, when you think about it, Marvel had something so bizarre out first, it's almost like fate knew that Marvel would make a career out of that, bringing lesser known comics to the big screen, though with success after this, because this one wasn't successful. Unlike DC and Warner Bros., who for decades rarely stepped out of the Batman and Superman brands, and if we're being honest, they probably still stay within them to this day. But look, I'm not here for a pointless DC versus Marvel debate. I'm here to talk about my boy Howard and his movie, which bad, good, bit of both, is surprisingly still one of the most unique superhero movies to date, regardless of where you stand. As aside from being a Marvel comic, one could easily mistake this for a twisted version of E.T. or other family movies of the 80s.
I don't know is what the hell I'm doing here.
Complete with jokes and material that aren't for kids. I mean, I'll be honest, how many people who were aware of the movie knew it was a comic before it was mentioned to them? Compare that to a lot of what's out there. This really feels like its own thing, a sci-fi family comedy with a little raunch, especially since the only heroic stuff is stopping evil aliens from coming to Earth, which isn't exactly a superhero-specific plot. Howard is just an everyman stuck in our world, and unfortunately dragged into doing bigger things than he signed up for, which is what I loved about the comics. It reminds me of that meme about anime protagonists having strange hairstyles. Only in this case, Howard is a superhero not because he wants to be, or because he's special in some way. He's a superhero because he looks weird in our world. He's a normal guy in a world where the norm is something else. He's trapped in a world he never made. In a weird way, despite this being a bomb, despite the negativity, This movie endures. For me, because it's based upon a favorite of mine, sure, but years later, it's still brought up in film circles. Mostly for negative reasons, sure, but it has stayed in mind for positive reasons as well. Like the Pixar thing, and because of meme reasons, and well, okay, it's not memed so much, as Guardians of the Galaxy really did my boy Howard a solid by having him pop up in the post-credit scene, resulting in people looking it up, and now he's somewhat relevant? I don't know, I kind of wish the soundtrack would have included the song as a surprise bonus. I mean, regardless of how you feel, the Howard the Duck theme is honestly among the best superhero themes as far as I'm concerned. Seriously, it's what's known as a banger. Okay, I'll never say that again. I think I've said enough for Howard the Duck's 35th anniversary. Sure, this was mostly me rambling. I didn't really go all that hard into the movie, and that's because I don't hate or love it. Maybe on the 40th anniversary I'll do something bigger, but for now, doing a video on him is enough to keep him in the conversation. For now, I say see ya with a more focused video next time. I hope.
This does not bode well.
Hey, just wanted to say thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Comment below if you had any thoughts on this. And if you want to support me even more, there's always the option of Patreon. Yes, I have a Patreon. Patreon would be a great way to help me grow this channel, as it's a great way to get equipment, a great way to let me know what you guys like, and it's a great way to help me financially. Just saying, the more I have on Patreon, the more time I'll have for these videos. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.